don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hello there. Yeah, it's been a while. I've been preoccupied. Got myself a job so I could actually pay for what I do, for what I enjoy to do. Basically pay for my hobbies, to support my hobbies. Hopefully, eventually, my hobbies will pay to support my hobbies. That way, me writing, me doing videos, me doing, yeah, will just be my living. I mean, that's the goal, right? To enjoy what you do. As long as you enjoy what you're doing and you're never working a day in your life. And honestly, the job I picked up, I do enjoy. It's just, I am super sore. So I haven't gotten to a video in a little while. Yeah, I actually had completely forgotten where I was in the book. So here we go. I think I'm chapter 4, right? If I'm wrong, I'll probably find out halfway through. Oh my gosh, I didn't read chapter 3. Or I'll realize I've read chapter 4, and I'd probably still upload the video just because it gives me something else to upload. But I digress. I'm babbling at this point. Chapter 4, Ash's Magic. Okay. If I remember correctly, yeah, they just introduced Ash's family. Well, you probably just saw the video, or if you haven't, watch those first, because they come before this, unless you're just interested in listening to me babble over and over and over again, at least until I start the book, because I think I talk for quite a bit. Yeah. Okay. Ash's Magic. Ash burst out the front door and stormed out onto the porch. Elsie, Cassie were sitting on the front porch, and they turned to see Ash marching right past them. Is everything all right? Elsie asked as Cassie looked worried, watching Ash's form storm down the front steps. No. Back as he went past them. Then he stopped, exhaled, and turned towards them. Sorry, I am going into town again. Ash turned back around and started heading to the back of the cottage, which now was much bigger as his father had added many more rooms as the cycles had gone by. The girls looked at each other with understanding in their eyes. But the town is that way, Cassie said, pointing to the main path. I need to go for a walk, he yelled back as he crossed past the addition to the once one-room cottage. Ash walked along the ice-covered embankment while taking the long route to the main village. Oh, okay. Ash walked along the ice-covered embankment while taking the long route to the main village. The crunch of the brittle snow could be heard as he trudged down the path. He had lost his childlike optimism. After his last brother and sister were born, his parents started giving him more and more to do. He planted his foot into the rock buried under the snow. Again, it takes me forever to turn a page. Ah! Why me? Exasperated, he reached down and pulled the rock from underneath his foot and lunged it as far as he could into the river. The rock cracked the ice and fell in. Ash sat down on the ground with a loud thud. Ash scrunched. Oh. Ash scrunched his eyebrows together. Son, I know you don't like going into town, but you make it quick. No haggling, he said in a forced, deep voice, mimicking his father. He dropped the look. But Dad, I told you how they treat me there, trying to make himself sound more wise than whiny. Ash, I know, I am sorry, but you are the oldest of your siblings, and we expect a lot from you. But, no, son. I am sorry we live in such a simple place. But, once you are older, you will be able to leave and see how grand the world is. We could have left it if you didn't have so many children. Ash, those are your siblings. Who love you more than anyone else in this world. Don't ever speak like that again. As Ash continued to reenact the conversation he had with his father, his position in the argument got weaker and weaker as he saw how wrong he was. I would rather not have siblings. Ash let his breath out heavily. I will have to apologize for that comment when I get back. He took another breath, picked himself up off the ground, and continued down the river's edge. A little way farther down, he stopped as he heard crunching footsteps approaching him, along with choking laughter. No, Ash thought. He walked a bit away from the river to lean in against a tree. Apparently, his steps were loud. Too. Oh my gosh. Apparently his steps were loud too, with the icy snow beneath his feet. As he had surprised the group which had been laughing before, the previously boisterous group stopped altogether. Hey, something's moving by the river. Let's check it out, two boys suggested. Iced, Ash snapped out in a whisper. Out of all the people in town, why does it happen to be these guys I have to run into? He thought. Ash exhaled heavily and leaned into the tree as if he was relaxing. As the steps in the snow grew closer and closer, the boys made it to the river and began to look around. As soon as the pudgiest of the threesome saw Ash, he cursed. Oh, Ike. The other two boys turned to look in the direction from where the cursing came. I thought I was being haunted. There was nothing but red eyes staring at me. This comment made the other boys laugh hysterically. Ha ha. You really are quite creative, Peter, Ash replied dryly. Why is a monster like you hanging out here? One of the other boys asked. You know no one cares about you, and you are planning to go for a dip in the ice? He continued, followed by another round of laughter. Ash sighed. You guys are very funny, but I am busy, as he began to push past them. One of the boys lost his footing and collapsed onto the cold ground. The boys shot up out from the snow, using his momentum to topple Ash forward. That is what you get for pushing me. Oh, I can't even read. When it's been too long, I just can't even read. Ash slowly got up and turned towards the boys again. I did not push you, he said, measuring each word. You fell because you lost your balance. The boy lunged toward him again, knocking Ash back down to the ground. He swung his fists at Ash as the other two jumped in, kicking at his grounded body. The boy on top was yelling in frustration as the other two just laughed. Ash managed to throw the boy off him and crawled a bit before one of the other boys planted his foot into his back, sending Ash face down into the snow again with a loud smack. Ash curled into a ball as the boys beat on him. "No, no, no!" Ash yelled, only to suddenly find himself alone. He tried to move, but realized he was stuck in place. He could see all around himself, yet there was nothing. Nothing but darkness, a shifting darkness, one which he could feel was on top, and yet one which he could feel was on top of him, and yet stretching far beyond his reach. He felt a slight breeze of wind flowing around him. "Hello?" he said in a quivering voice. He said in a quivering voice to the darkness. The darkness began to shake and tighten. "Welcome, blood of my blood," it replied in a way that was not only heard but felt. Ash could feel the lower half of his body tighten with each word. "Who are you?" he asked the darkness, feeling panicked. The darkness remained silent, but Ash felt as if eyes were being rolled. Ash tried another way. "What is blood of my blood?" Again, no response, other than an even greater feeling of someone or something rolling their eyes, or whatever darkness's equivalent to that would be. Ash annoyingly asked, "How did I get here?" The darkness replied, "You called me." "I don't understand. What is this place?" Ash asked, trying desperately to understand. "You are in the source," the darkness said, "the place where all comes from." "The source of all?" Ash questioned. The darkness continued, "You called to me, not knowing, but in time you will know." Ash felt as if his head was being ripped apart. Then suddenly, he was back, yelling. He was back, yelling and standing again in the snowy woods. He looked around and saw the three boys suspended in a haze in the air. Ash's eyes went wide, staring at the boys as they struggled to get free. When they saw him move once again, they were terrified and began thrashing even more ferociously. Ash turned and ran off back to the cottage. He could hear the sound of the bodies falling to the ground with a thud as he ran. Ash made quick time getting back home. When he arrived, he was winded and panting. "Dad," he wheezed out, "Dad." The Drake Wolf shot out from the house, running straight for Ash, licking his palm once he reached him, and growling at the space behind Ash, daring anyone to come near. His father jogged towards Ash with a concerned look on his face. As Corian got closer, his concern turned to fury when he saw his battered son approaching. "Who did this to you, son?" he asked, rage lacing his voice, which was followed by a bark from the Drake Wolf. Ash, not even paying attention to his father, continued, "I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden I was in darkness. Then they were stuck and floating in air. The confusion about the whole situation was evident in his tone and face. His father, now seeing the sheer bewilderment in his son, took the boy inside where all his siblings crowded around him. "So, tell me what happened from the beginning," his father directed him after sitting down and kneeling in front of him at eye level. "On my way to town, I came across Pete. Ash cut himself off, as even though he was still in shock, he knew his father would not rest till the boys were punished. I came across 3 boys who started to hit me, and I was on the ground, They what?" his father asked with anger in his voice. "I found myself in darkness, a place that called itself..." Ash looked up to meet his father's gaze. "The source of all," he said, emphasizing the title. "When I realized I was out of the darkness, I found the 3 who had attacked me suspended in midair." "Magic," his father said. "It figures, but I am not sure what the source of all is." His father finished, his mind wandering off into a thoughtful silence. "What, Dad?" Ash prodded his father to continue. "Well, we are all magic users in our family." He looked at all the other kids around Ash. "In our family, when you become of age at 15, we should start to train you how to use magic. At least that's how it's been so far." He looked back at Ash. "I am sorry that I had not told you this at a younger age. It shouldn't surprise me that you would find your magic early. You are rather special." With that statement, all his siblings looked up at Ash with respect and wonder. "I am special?" he thought. "No, I am just a flaw," he I can't even read my own word. Rectified. "No, I am just a flaw," he rectified. "I am sorry, son." But his father was cut off. Ash's mother walked quickly into the room, carrying a bucket of water she had just received from the river. "Honey, there is a big group of townsmen coming up the road." She looked at all her children in the room, and the tension fled her shoulders at seeing they were all safe. But then her face turned red and her eyes sparked with anger as she saw Ash's disheveled state. They are coming here about Ash," Corin said to her, smiling at Ash and calming. Okay, I remembered I got this name right beforehand, but Fiella. "This young man has awakened his magic early, I believe." Corian rose from the ground and turned to walk out the door, leaving the cottage. Ash could hear the pound of falling footsteps carving their way through the snow closer toward the cottage. Their pet drake wolf began to growl at the sounds coming closer. "Now that is far enough," Ash heard his father say with an authoritative voice. All right, that's where I'm going to stop chapter 4 for now. I'm starting to get tongue twisters, twist over my own words. Yeah. Please support me by, purchasing it. That way you can finish it, because apparently it's going to be a long time before I finish it. Of course, book 2 should be coming out soon. If you're lucky and you're watching this way in the future, hopefully I'll have most of this series done. I mean, I am planning to continue to write this series as well as many others till, well, I can no longer write. Let's just say I have already several hundred stories planned out. No, most of them are just simple ideas. I'll probably read some of them, which aren't even affiliated with this, which are just stories, which are simple scenes that had popped into my head, which I have fleshed out more and more. You know what? I'm just digressing now. Thank you all for watching. Please support me. Like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Just support me in some way. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Read to you next time. Toodles.